Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and today it is finally time for us to review Cuphead, the delicious last course on the Nintendo Switch. This review was originally written by the swell Chris Scullion and has been adapted for video by me. I don't think I can keep that up for the whole review. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things.
It's a delicious last course. Oh, the delicious last course. One can eat and fill and still stay until the delicious last course.
There's a section near the end of one of the new stages in Cuphead's DLC that made us shout a 4-letter word at the screen extremely loudly, and that word was not cups. Being the level-headed types we are, it's very rare for a game to make us resort to such outbursts. But there we were, bellowing the sort of language that would turn the air bluer than Mugman's nose, and yet despite this, we weren't gnawing our fists off in rage or spiking the controller off the wall. We were laughing. We can't go into much more detail because it's the sort of thing you should discover for yourself, but it's the sort of cheap trick that will likely guarantee that you'll die the first time, which in any other case would be thoroughly infuriating, given how many lives will likely be lost to reach that point, and yet something about Cuphead makes this cheeky trick endearing rather than engaging. It's one of the very large number of moments in the delicious last course. You get a delicious last course DLC for Cuphead, which was announced way back in June 2018, a year before the base game had even come to Switch. Fans will almost unanimously agree that it's been worth the wait, even if it is a little on the short side. The delicious last course consists of between 5 and 7 new stages, depending on how you play. One is hidden and the other can't be accessed if you play on the easier simple difficulty, as well as 5 challenge stages. Each main level consists of an entirely new boss battle, and each is similarly spectacular when compared to the boss fights found in the original game. From a lengthy scrap with an ice wizard who can turn into a snowman and a fridge, to the Moonshine Mob, a gang of criminal bugs led by a devious snail, each boss is brimming with just as much character as those already encountered by Cuphead fans. It should be noted though that if you're a fan of the run and gun sections from the main game, your needs won't be entirely catered for here. Of the 7 main stages in this DLC, 6 of them start right away with a boss battle, and the remaining one is an aeroplane shoot-'em-up stage. This does also mean that players can't gather coins in the usual method. In the main game, most of the coins are found in these run-and-gun stages, but there's a series of 5 new challenge battles with a new character called the King of Games, not to be confused with a character from Banjo-Kazooie, which can be beaten to earn coins for the new power-ups available, such as the oddly powerful Crackshot weapon. This is all well and good, but the most obvious new addition to the delicious last course is Ms. Chalice, a new third character who can be summoned to take the place of Cuphead or Mugman if you apply the Astral Cookie charm. What this means, of course, is that you can't apply any of the other charms like Heart or Smoke Bomb whilst you're playing as Ms. Chalice, which on paper sounds like it should make playing the game as her a little harder, but it's the complete opposite. Ms. Chalice is packing her own set of buffs that actually make her the character of choice for anyone who wants a slightly easier time without straight up dropping the difficulty. Right off the bat, she starts off each battle with 4 health points instead of 3, making the Heart charm pretty much useless anyway. She also has a double jump move, which is something that Cuphead and Mugman can only do if they parry off an enemy, specifically a pink thing, So instead, her parry move is tied to the dash instead, meaning she can parry pink objects simply by dashing into them, requiring less precise timing. Add to that her roll move, which makes her temporarily invincible, like the Smoke Bomb, and you've got a new character who can get out of pretty much any tight squeeze without getting so much as a chip on her porcelain. Assuming you can get porcelain chalices, we haven't checked. Ms. Chalice then provides an interesting halfway house between players who may be struggling with regular difficulty but don't want to resort to dropping the difficulty down to simple, which often results in whole phases being missed out during boss fights. Not to mention the fact that you need to beat every DLC stage in regular to access the last one. The extra benefits she brings should make things a little bit easier for players who want to stick with regular, but let's be clear here, it doesn't instantly make all the bosses like ridiculously easy or anything like that, so you can rest easy. The bosses featured in the delicious last course are just as fiendishly tricky, if not more so at times, than the ones found in the main game, so if you're concerned that the addition of this quote-unquote easier character is part of an overall lessening of the game's difficulty, then do not worry your little head, that is just not the case. And of course you can take on all the new stages as Cuphead or his pal Mugman instead, if you don't want Ms. Chalice's boosts. Meanwhile, for those who don't necessarily want to play as Ms. Chalice but might fancy another little bit of help, the DLC DLC also adds a new charm called the Heart Ring to the in-game shop, which gives you a health point back when you perform your first, third, and sixth parries during a battle. It's a bit weirdly specific, but it's a good. The sum of all these parts is a wonderful final hurrah for a game that continues to stand out as one of the best of its generation. It's not the world's longest expansion, coming in at about quarter of the size of the main game, 7 bosses compared to 28, but at only $8.99 or £6.79 if you're in the UK, it's absolutely reasonably priced for what you get. Just make sure you don't have any kids around while you're playing in case you end up doing what we did and joyfully shouting the same word we did, which wasn't even bums. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course is a great little expansion that adds new life to one of the Switch's most entertaining games. It may be a tad on the short side, but what's here is absolutely fantastic, and it's reasonably priced if you take its length into account. If you have the original, this is essential. And if you don't have the original, they're both essential, so just get them. Just get them. You've reached the end of the review. That means it's time for Alex's personal thoughts, and oh lordy, I'm having a blast with this because I'm still playing it through at the time of recording. It's a very strange thing, and I'm sure it's entirely relevant to the original game as well, but seeing gameplay footage of it just does not translate, really, especially when, like, there was this gameplay footage that they revealed during Summer Game Fest, and it looks good when you put it in that context, but, you know, you're watching a developer, no doubt, who has played the game to absolute death and makes everything look like a cakewalk and sort of think, oh, well, it doesn't look that hard, it doesn't look that entertaining. It is a completely different story when you get your hands on it, like a completely different story. And yeah, now that I say that out loud, I'm pretty damn certain that applies to the original game as well. If you saw that gameplay footage, or you saw the footage that you just saw from this review and you're sort of thinking, well, maybe, then I guarantee it does not do actually playing the game justice. It is maniacal. When I first started playing it, I hadn't actually picked up Cuphead in quite a long time, and so I went right in with it, and I was like, oh, am I actually going to enjoy this? When I was getting beaten 7 ways to Sunday, but I very quickly got back into it and started understanding the patterns and things like that, and I just had the best time. Like, I think in a way, it kind of recaptures that original magic of Cuphead playing it for the first time, but with all the knowledge and skill of having played the full game before, and as a result, in a way, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it more, but my gut reaction is I enjoyed it a bit more. Part of that may well be because I haven't played the game in so long, but even so, I just had an absolute blast, and I will continue to do so because I'm still playing it, and as soon as I'm finished making this review, I am jumping right back into that thing. Well, I will be after I've finished work because I've got other things I need to do, which makes me a sad boy. But Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, yes, it's a good...